Chad. We're so excited to have you here along with Pastor to Governor Judy because you just wonderfully and nimbly stepped into the role as our district youth service youth exchange officer. And having gone through the system yourself, it was like nirvana. It was perfect. So what I'd like to do, just spend some time talking about, first of all, if you could tell us about youth exchange for people who may not know what exactly youth exchange is, and a little bit then maybe perhaps about your experience in the past and what's happening now. So let's start off with that if we could.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here with the both of you. You are inspiring. I'm here to unleash the power of Rotary with you, Nyron.
Oh,
Um,
very nice.
Love it, love it.
yeah, District 5330. Um, Rotary Youth Exchange, we're going on 50 years this year of a really solid program of diplomacy that promotes peace across the globe. Um, Personally, I was an exchange student with Rotary my junior year of high school in 2003, 2004. I had that life-changing experience, and I am just honored to be a part of the other side now and see how all of that is coordinated through the volunteer efforts of our members and the
So,
sponsorship
where
and the
did you
hosting
go,
of our
Chad?
Yeah.
clubs. I was in District 1520, which sits between Paris and Belgium, so the north of France.
Oh,
hmm
very nice. So, did you get to learn two languages or just one?
Well, I was fortunate. I stayed in a host family that spoke Spanish as well, so I learned Spanish and French at the same time.
Oh wow.
And I really was able to master that part of the program. I had exceptional results with my French language abilities, and I really was able to make the most of the immersion process, which is one of the biggest cultural exchanges, of course, in that program is the mastery of conversationalism and the ability to eventually perform academically as well. So I was able to achieve the French have kind of two milestones where in American high schools we have our senior year and you get your diploma. Well, the French kind of have two phases of that. So I was able to actually get the first phase equivalency of a high school diploma while I was there. So
That's
just
cool.
afforded me
And
amazing opportunities.
can you explain for somebody that maybe isn't aware of our exchange program with Rotary, kind of how that works from the perspective of the student?
Yeah, so applicants can be ages 15 to 19. So what that means is ideally for American students, a 15-year-old student would apply to the program and then they go through this vetting and application process, which entails a Rotary member visiting your home and your family and kind of observing your lifestyle structure and, uh, you know, kind of taking you through a process of determining whether or not you're fit and able to do this. Also, kind of gauging families' abilities as well financially, of course. But a lot of my exchange really was fully sponsored. I came from a single parent home. So it was a possibility that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise, only through Rotary International. So at that point, once you're accepted by your district youth exchange officer, who I've now become, it's a full circle moment. I'm doing the
Full
same
circle
thing
Love
moment.
it, love it,
they
love
took
it.
me through. It's magic. Once you make it through that first step, you then go through outbound orientations. And so that is getting you ready and resilient for all of the waves of homesickness you're going to surf, as well
Yeah, because you're over
as
there for a full year, right?
yes, exactly. And they're taking you through some cultural strengthening and how to be the best ambassador for the United States, for example, that we could be. I went during a very turbulent time when Americans were calling French fries freedom fries. So I was my duty was especially activated that year.
I can imagine.
And so from the student
How were
side,
you
after that, you
received?
take off and you meet your first of hopefully 3 or 4 host families that you'll be exchanging many cultural experiences with. And from there, the whole year just flashes by in the blink of an eye.
So Chad, given that you had a turbulent time that you were there, how were you initially received as an American student in that French and Belgian environment?
You know, it was a lot of like political joking. President Bush was the president at the time, George Bush Jr. And so, you know, there were just a lot of kind of political jokes, but it was never projected directly at me. And I actually, personally, I was an anti-Iraq, you know, kind of student protester of my own at the time. So I aligned completely with the French sentiment at the time. So that wasn't so much a challenge for me. But I actually was shocked to see the opposite of what I expected. The French were so it was open arms and such a curiosity about my culture and about where I come from. I cannot recall any like severe approach from any of the French that hosted me during my exchange. It was
You know, that's so wonderful because you think about how challenging high school is
Right,
anyway, right
Yeah.
in your hometown, in your home country, and then to encounter that. So that's wonderful that you had
Such a great experience.
positive experience. Absolutely.
yeah, and we were able to break some of the stigmas and things that you know were kind of commonplace and you know show up as a human.
Right.
That's awesome.
And you're in country with several other exchange students, right, from all over the world. And do you still keep in connection with some of those students that were exchange students the same year you were?
Facebook is a blessing in that sense. I have really been able to maintain such a lovely contact with all of my lifelong exchange buddies. In fact, we're all kind of putting together a little reunion here 20 years later. So
Oh my
that's
wonderful.
really
goodness,
exciting.
that's
Many,
awesome.
many of us will be gathering soon back on French soil.
That's exciting. That's
Yeah.
very
Well,
exciting.
make sure you bring back some videos so we can show the students over here in 5330,
The alumni,
the
yeah.
alumni, and show what the impact of the program is. Because I think it's so phenomenal that you are really an ambassador of the United States to the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
And now you've come full circle. So how did you get approached or decide to become the youth exchange officer in our district?
You know, it was something I always eventually wanted to get involved with. Since the very moment I returned from my exchange, it's called rebound homesickness. You're homesick then for the country that you have now come to call home. And so I knew from that point on the program's impact on my life and how special my circumstances were as well, and the access that Rotary gave me to just life-changing experiences. So it was always something that I wanted to give back and pay forward to other youth. And so I'm only now kicking myself that I didn't get involved sooner.
Well, we're excited that you're involved now. And I know that, you know, the process of becoming a youth exchange officer is not just a name.
Right.
There is a lot of training, education. Can you walk us briefly through kind of what you've had to go through
Great
to
question.
prepare yourself to be the youth exchange officer? Because we have lives of our children from our district and you know and all over the world and those that we receive. So it's quite a big responsibility.
Yeah, so you know, along with you know, of course, youth protection certification and training that's provided by not only our district but by Rotary International as well. That was a lot of module completions,
Yep.
as well as, you know, of course, we as responsible parties for youth are taken through Department of State clearance as well, and pretty thorough background checking. We're live scanned, which is the equivalent of like an FBI background check. So, you know, that is paramount. The top priority is our exchange students' safety. And along with that certification came you know, insight and training as to how to process the host family applicants. The most challenging part of the program actually is securing commitments from the host families, and they have to check a lot of boxes and parameters as well. You know, the living environment, of course, their financial ability, and of course, a clean background check, which, you know, is it isn't difficult for those applicants. You know, they all kind of run a similar line as far as their characteristics, the family characteristics go and things. But a lot of you know, insight as to, you know, what we should be looking for from the host families and the living situations.
So, Chad, let me ask you, without delving deeply into your personal life, but you mentioned coming from a single parent household and having this opportunity. Were you already an interactor at that point? How did you even find out about the youth exchange opportunity and capitalize on that?
I wish my high school had had an interact club, but we did not. We were a very, the population of my small little country town was about 1,600. So we were darn lucky to have a foreign exchange student in our school, actually. And so that was really about the length of Rotary's involvement in my high school was bringing us an exchange student every year, every other year. In fact, I was their first outbound ever. And
Wow.
so I was turned on to the program by a French girl that I became kind of madly in love with at the time. Yeah, I was just, she became one of my best friends in life too, and obviously just changed my world. I kind of went chasing after her a bit and just wanted to live that experience. And so she introduced me to the people that I needed to get in touch with to apply and made it happen.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Kids in action.
So-
Power of love.
So, how many students do we have this year inbound, and how many do we have outbound?
So this year, District 5330 has 4 inbound students. One, my club is hosting from Brazil, Manu Salguero. She is just really bringing a lot of light to this program and to our club and inspiring so many program milestones. Just really impressive student we have at our club. She's has this perfect attendance and presents weekly to our members
wow.
about her busy week and
She's
her.
better than most
I was gonna say.
Rotarians.
She is, and so we're so impressed with how that is going. She just continues to be a great example. We have three other students, a Danish girl in Redlands, and then we have two in Big Bear, a Spanish student, Sandra, and another Brazilian girl, Bettina. And they're all
That's
just
awesome.
really, these are our future global citizens that we're fostering here. It's amazing. And two outbounds.
And that's the purpose, right? Oh yeah, where are our outbound students
Our
going?
outbounds, I apologize. One is in France and one is in the Czech Republic, I believe.
Wow.
Forgive me, I'm just acquainting myself to the outbound kids.
No worries.
So if someone is interested in like themselves or their someone in their family that would like to go as an outbound student, how does that process look here? And like, when do they need to start applying? Do you have kind of deadlines that you could inform us on so that they could kind of take a look at that in a year? I know it's a year-long process, so I know it takes a bit.
It is. So we start receiving applications around mid-September, and then they close pretty quickly around the beginning of November, November 15th. So it's a pretty short window of time to get in and apply. We do hope that this is something the student has considered, for some time before applying.
Right.
So hopefully we get in and start recruiting them around this time for applications next year.
Right.
And so we're really happy to report we have two outbound applicants in our district, one coming from Cathedral City and another from Redlands. But that process really is very straightforward, simple one. They follow a link and fill out an online application, and then we are forwarded their information and we take them through our application process, our interviews, and start getting them prepared if they're accepted into the program.
And where would that link be?
Rotary.org. It's a Rotary.org link.
And they would search for the outbound student or student exchange program?
Exactly. Outbound application form.
Okay.
So is that something that we could put on, for instance, our district website that would at least make it a little bit more personal to, because sometimes Rotary.org is this kind of big void in the sky type of thing. Are we able to put that link and help you out better that way?
Absolutely. I would love to get that on our district's landing page, make it as simple as possible. Absolutely.
Okay, so we can talk to Dan Goodrich about doing that. I'm also going to ask you if you can write some blurbs for our district newsletter about the Youth Exchange. I am so excited to see you come full circle. I mean, that is really, we talk about the alumni committee that we started, but that is the power of Rotary. For you to be a recipient of this, go out into the world and then bring all of that back in your experience and to now turn around and help the next generation. That is the power of Rotary. So I really love your story, Chad.
Thank you. I think that was Rotary's intention, was to one day get us back into the club for meetings and membership.
Absolutely. And to just be those peace stewards around the world, which is really the purpose of this program. Because when people understand other cultures, they're less likely to have conflict with those cultures.
Absolutely.
And so this program has been going strong for a really, really long time. And it's such a big part of what we do in Rotary with all of our youth. So it's amazing that we're able to fully participate as a district. And the question for me would be, how can more students participate, but also how can Rotarians support this program for what do you need basically from the rest of us? We may not have a child that's ready to go into it, but what can we do to help?
Yes. So I think it is going to start with my strategy of, which I've shared with Nyron as well, a a start of a survey of our 63 clubs, I believe we have in our district. I've created a questionnaire to remind all of the clubs in our district how important this program is and their duty to be involved in it. And so I hope that that will spark some initial interest and open up the gates for me to get more clubs involved. And with that, I can start to really capitalize on my committee my committee formation training that I've recently completed, and get a really solid district committee going, where we have a lot of boots on the grounds in the schools, in the parent-teacher organizations, talking about this program.
Well, let me ask you, because you mentioned the committee, and I know that you're trying to do that and work with committees in each one of the clubs, but I know you also have, Cynthia and Warren and a lot of other people behind you. So could you talk about the whole structure that the district already has in place that you're a part of now and kind of leading the charge? But I know there's a whole bunch of people behind you as well.
Oh, absolutely. Thank goodness for the existing structure there. This program has really great bones, with a lot of committed individuals. Warren and Dick and Cynthia have really laid some beautiful groundwork, and I am going to run wild on their path. So we also collaborate with our corporation SCANEX, which is our bridge or link to the Department of State as well. And that comprises of multiple Rotary districts, including our 5280 in Santa Monica and Los Angeles area. And it spans over to Utah, Arizona, and Nevada as well. In fact, I'm leaning so heavily on the wisdom that all of these folks are offering me lately. So.
And those are where all those students come together and go together on the bus ride at the end of the year.
Yeah,
those students.
Yes,
yeah, right.
Yes, Paul St. John's train tour.
Yeah, so they're getting the opportunity to really immerse themselves in the community for a year or in these various homes that they are, and as well as connect with other students, other exchange students from around the world, which I think is one of the most beautiful things, because that really is spreading that power of peace, the power of Rotary throughout our country and those around the world. So that's awesome.
The power of community.
Power of community. Well, Chad, it's been a pleasure having you here. I can't wait to read your articles that you're going to be putting on the blog for to be included in the governor's newsletter. And maybe you can include a link in that for that survey so that people that want to take that will do so, and encourage them to be a part of this exchange program.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody stay tuned for my survey, of course, and I'm so excited to contribute to your newsletter, Governor Nyron.
Well, Chad, thank you very much for really stepping up to the plate, and it could not be a better circle. As designed by Providence. So I'm excited for your bringing youth and passion and vigor and just a new energy to this, and building upon what Dick and Cynthia and Warren and SCANEX already had in place. So I'm really excited for what you're going to do, and showing an opportunity to other kids. And we're certainly willing to do all we need to do to help promote that and get more clubs involved. So we will work side by side with you.
Oh, I'm very excited for it.
Awesome.
All right.